Hey, welcome back to the Confidad Podcast. My name is Dan Tinquist, your host. So glad you chose to join us today. Let's begin with our fatherhood mindset. I am the only one who can fulfill the father role I have, so I choose to do it well. I get to show up well for my kids. Imperfection is reality. Ownership is a choice. Today is brand new, and so is tomorrow. I am wholly loved, so I will love wholly. Today in our equipping section, I want to help us understand this reality. What we celebrate, we cultivate. Think about the things that you celebrate in your life. Think about the things you celebrate in your family, in your career, like in just our culture in general. There's often things that happen in our lives that we mark as important, right? Birthdays. That's probably the easiest one. Think about like the first birthday of your kids, cake smashing, all that fun stuff, right? So we're celebrating something, and as we celebrate that, it cultivates it into our lives or makes culture what culture is. And because we are working hard on our family culture and giving you a framework for that, celebration is a really important part of how you ingrain and concretize the culture that you have. So the easy ones, like I said, are birthdays, like confirmations or bat mitzvahs or things along those lines, like important markers as your kids grow, and then graduation, right? And a wedding, birth of a child, all the way through retirements, anniversaries. Like we celebrate all of these things. And let me help you and challenge you to say that we don't celebrate enough. Now, I'm not talking about Americans' propensity to make every single holiday, whether it's an American holiday or Cinco de Mayo, an excuse to drink. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is our ability to show up and celebrate the things that matter in the moments that matter. Think about the first time your kid was scared to try something, say water skiing, right? Around here in Minnesota, lots of kids try water skiing or wakeboarding for the first time, like right around ages maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there, right? And it's difficult to get up the first time, right? You try, you have the skis that are tied together and you're moving your way up, and then eventually you get up for the first time. Like, when that happens, families usually are hooting and hollering and screaming and yelling and cheering and clapping and saying, "You did it, that's amazing." That cultivates something in your family that says when you try hard, you have a good attitude and you have great effort, we are going to celebrate that, okay? I think that we can celebrate even more. And here's one little tip on how to celebrate really well. Whenever your kids have something coming and you see it coming, whether it's a big milestone moment or like a little thing, right? It could be potty training, could be being able to tie their shoe for the first time. It could be making their own sandwich, like whatever little thing that was difficult for your kid before, but is no longer difficult because they have figured out how to do it. That moment when they cross from "it was hard and I can't" to "it might still be hard, but now that I can," when can't becomes can, celebrate, right? One of my favorite ways of celebrating can't to can is with emergency confetti. And you're like, what's emergency confetti? Well, you know those confetti cannons? Hold on. These guys. And if you're not on the video, hop over to Spotify or YouTube and check it out, because I have one of these confetti poppers right here. And I'll put a link in the show notes where you can go and buy, like just order a box and have them on hand. Several of my clients have done so, and they just have this box of confetti on hand. And here's the crazy thing. When we use one of these to mark a moment when our child has moved from can't to can, it engages their whole person. They hear it boom. They see it fly. And it's like marking this moment of like, wow, something significant really just happened, and I am being celebrated, or my sibling is being celebrated. It's a fantastic way for our kids to know and start to kind of mark in their memories. Like, if we do this consistently throughout the year for different things, losing the first tooth or whatever, like get creative with it. What it does is starts to build within our family culture the anticipation that like, when's the next confetti cannon going to go off? And the understanding that like the things, even the smallest, most mundane, ordinary things can be extraordinary moments for our kids. Because when you're that age, tying your shoe for the first time is an extraordinary moment. Do you remember the first time you tied your shoe? I bet the majority of us do, unless you like did it when you were super young and just always remember tying your shoe. But I remember in kindergarten, we're learning how to tie a shoe for the first time and being able to get it right. Like, it's a tiny little moment in a lot of humans' lives, but what a big moment when you're a tiny human, right? So go ahead and get some of these and tell me, when are you using them? How are you using them? Because it's a great opportunity. And if you're one of those people that like, you love to have a neat house and you never want to have a mess around, well, do it outside. That's fine. You know, you can sweep it up or vacuum it up later. If you're like me, it's worth it. And here's why. Because sometimes life is messy, but if we can make a mess in the moments that matter in a fun way, we'll remember it. It's a great way to cultivate a culture of celebration within your family. And then everyone can help clean it up and whatever. And actually, right around the corner, up on one of our sound absorption panels, one little piece of confetti that's still up there. It's like hanging on like this. And I leave it there on purpose to remind me that what we celebrate, we cultivate. We'll see you in the next episode.